What's tea, y'all? I know some of you are out there right now having a hard time, having problems in your relationships, having trouble with life. Or maybe you're on social media swiping and swiping, thinking, why can't that be me? Why can't I do that? Well, I'm here to let you know that you can. This is Create Your Own Story with Terrell Garnett, where we not only help you create your own story, but we let you tell yours too. Let's get into it, y'all. Well, I am back now, y'all. This is part 2. I'm back with Jerry, Senseii, and Demariyea, and we're going to get back into the talk about relationship. Let me turn their mics on.
Let's go, bro. Shout out.
So we left off with talking about, I said something in regards to how Jesus was, died a virgin. He was alone, in a sense, alone. Mm-hmm. I use quotations when I say alone. Into the fact of that, relationships in any aspects, it's not just about, basically you can die single and be happy.
Yeah.
And Jerry was about to say something, and I want to let him finish his thought.
Yeah. So my thought was too, I guess he did die alone because he was by himself on the cross. I mean, you want to get like theologically or contextually correct. I mean, he was by himself on his own cross, but he had 2 people on the side of him. Obviously, he was in the middle of 2 other people, but he also had 12 friends. And so I think that's why it's imperative also to have good friendships. And like what we were talking about in the first episode was that friendships, just healthy friendships in regard to previous to relationship, before it even stems into a relationship, healthy friendships are imperative. I think healthy friendships, even not even going into a romantic relationship, are imperative. You need friends in your life. You need a circle in your life. And if you don't have that, it's going to be very, very hard for you to venture on. I know a lot of people say it's better to do life alone. It is if you have bad friends, but I mean, the context of us as human beings, I think it's imperative for us to have connections in friendships, connections in community. And I think that it's very important that we do have a good inner circle. And whether your circle is few or whether it's 10 or 12 people, like Jesus had 12 people, 12 close people, that is, I think it's very, very important to have people just in general to speak into your life, to be able to hear you out. And then for us as human beings and just us in general, to be able to call you out even in certain areas and blind spots, going back to the first episodes that is where we don't see ourselves growing in, so that we could be better able to grow. But I do think that that's very important to have people, so that we can, one, I guess for lack of better words, change the world, or at least our world, or the sphere of where we're in, and also as well to help empower each other. So Jesus did have friends, and I think friends are imperative in regard to the context of relationships, and in regard to a romantic relationship, it all starts with a friendship.
Yeah, I totally agree. Studies show that the only relationship that causes people to live longer lives are friendships. Not a wife, not a husband, not family members, but an actual friendship can cause you to live a longer life. So that goes to say, and then I always tell people that all relationships are the same, just except for the different levels of intimacy that you have with somebody. Mm-hmm. So how you treat your wife or your girlfriend should be the same way that you treat your best friend or something.
Yeah, I think, well, that's another thing. I know you and I did a podcast together, was it like almost 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Now it's been a while. It's been a long time, dude. Yeah, reminiscing. But the reality is
on friendships.
It was on friendships, and the thing is, whether it's with the same sex, opposite sex, or whatever, intimacy is far beyond just a romantic level.
Yeah.
You could be intimate with a brother or intimate with a sister, and by no means is it romantic.
On an emotional
Exactly.
aspect of connecting.
I think a lot of
with
people
the individual.
I think a lot of people think that intimacy means sex or has something.
It doesn't have to
sexual
feel with touchy feeling. No,
it could be touchy and feely, but it doesn't have to be sexual.
Yeah, but it's like
This right here is intimate, but it's not sexual.
no.
He's grabbing my shoulder.
It doesn't have to.
Why you saying
Yeah, bro.
But in terms of what we're doing on an intimate level, we're all
This is intimate right now, what we're
Exactly,
doing.
that's a perfect example. We're all having a personal,
Yeah,
we're
it's
having
personal.
deep
Personal.
personal conversations.
Yeah,
That's
we're letting
intimate.
and we're letting
And
everybody
we're all
into it.
connecting.
Shout out.
You feel me? Like
Vulnerability.
so.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be on a physical aspect of the touch, the sensation. It's actually understanding another individual and connecting through the emotions of what we're communicating.
I
right?
think that's important. I think a lot of it comes.
And even if it's different, that's okay, right?
I think a lot of it comes from the expectation or the assumption that intimacy is sex. So when people like each other, naturally, if I like you on the first date,
That's what would.
I'm gonna have sex with you. Or naturally,
dude.
that's what, and we say it's naturally, and these are things that we do.
That's
but
the
then it
quote unquote
sets-
end game.
Right, it sets up because that's the goal. Like reality is like that may be the goal. So, but if that's your goal, then why are you in a relationship with this person 3 weeks later? Those
you
are the
trying to
different
prolong?
things.
Yeah.
These are the different things of either having the understanding that friendship is important. And then in the beginning, people have sex in relationships a lot of times, and then they just start a relationship. They weren't friends. They didn't really get to know each other.
Then
they
they
went in for
misconstru-
sex,
it
and then they
misconstrues
said,
the
"Well,
whole
I like
boundaries of
you.
it all.
I like you because I had sex with you."
But then it misconstrues the emotions and the physical aspect.
Right, 'cause
Yeah,
you
I
didn't
think
get to know
that-
boundaries of the relationship.
I mean,
is
you
all.
didn't build a understanding,
understanding.
and knowing of somebody. So that does speed up things, in my opinion, and it does make it harder to be
I
that
think
person's
that
friends.
I think that a lot of I don't want to speak for women, but I think that a lot of women feel that sometimes that's all they have to offer, so they give up sex to try to keep a man around, even if they don't want to necessarily have sex. Not all women, but some women do this
because it's worked in the past.
exactly. And then they're left empty.
Yeah, and then on the guy side of possible expectations or the coming into the factor of like, well, I want to have sex. I want to have sex with this
Thinking
person.
that sex is a let's say
It's the goal. Like sex is the goal or the status
standard,
quo. Like
yeah.
that's the status. symbol.
Oh,
If I have
hey,
sex
we're in a
with you.
relationship. We should have sex every night.
And but that's what people.
Is that a standard, or is that just the relationship? Like, is that something you're putting on expectations on the individual, or is that?
But if somebody gives it up, if the girl gives it up the first night or first week or first couple
That's a
months,
tangent
whatever,
question,
Yeah.
I'm just
and the
asking.
guy is you're setting that standard in the beginning. So instead of going on 5 dates and getting to know someone, people are having sex on the first date.
Exactly. So
Instead
that's
of just being honest, like I just want sex. No, they think they want the affection. They want more. I think people want more than the sex, but sex is like one of the deepest things that we think we feel instead of conversation.
You know, I was reading a book that I'm finishing up last night, and it was talking about abundance. It was talking about abundance, but the moral of it was paying the price. And so in regard to having abundance, sometimes we skip steps in order to get what we want and not realizing when we get there, we end up falling short and not having it because we didn't learn the proper steps in being able to obtain it and sustain it and grow it for that matter. And the same thing goes into regard to relationships. We skip steps. And for instance, like how it was just mentioned right now and just skipping from, for some people it's day 1 to day 5, day 1 to month 1 or whatever it is, but you skip from you skip steps and you have sex on day 1, and being that's one of the most intimate things you give yourself. You give of yourself, you give part of your soul, you connect yourself to another person, and you're giving part of your body to another person, not realizing exactly, realizing or not realizing because some people don't realize these things, but not realizing that you are giving an emotional part of who you are, a part of who you are to somebody else. That's a gem right there. And so you're skipping steps, not realizing that the other steps are imperative. The other steps being friendship and relationship, and actually going through some hard times and going through some very important conversations and going even through some good times to be able to appreciate the individual. So you skip steps, and now you've depreciated the person by having sex with them. And so you're having sex with somebody that you don't even know, and now they're connected to you. Soul ties. Yeah. So now they're connected to you, and you don't know how to and you don't even know how to break apart from them once you realize that there's all these leaks in their life because you didn't take the time to get to know them.
Yep.
You speaking from experience?
No, no. Yes, I am speaking. Yeah, of course, I am speaking from experience. I'll be totally transparent with that. There's been times in my life where, whether it was from outside sources or even from myself, just being so, just leaning into my human nature, even sometimes as a man, because you have this attraction to the opposite sex. They look good or whatever, or you feel this, you feel this pressure or whatever it is to be with this person. You incline into your nature, and you start depreciating who this person actually is, and so you can be with them and having sex with them for about a month or two and not realizing who they even are,
because you're idealizing them.
Well, you have
from the connection, not in the negative aspect, but
you have this image of who they are, and it's solely based off of your fantasy rather than the reality of whatever they bring. You know what I mean? And so I think that's very important to actually get to know who they are, what they bring, what their values are, what their ideals are, and whether their ideals are, and again, this is not a comparison game, or a little bit lesser than you or not, or maybe they are higher than yours. To get to know those things, because if not, you could develop a very unhealthy relationship, and it's all physical, and none of it, again, is nor intellectual or spiritual or even metaphysical in whatever you believe or they believe. And so I think that's one of the biggest hangups in our lives right now.
Yeah, I think that you made a good point about depreciating them, but not also you depreciate yourself. Yourself. And because in reality, look, none of us like heartbreak. None of us like the way heartbreak feels.
We all hate it.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And in retrospect, sometimes we realize that it worked for our good, but did we need to go through that? At times, sometimes we just put ourselves through a revolving door.
Yeah.
And you guys got
through that specific emotion. You got it, bro.
No, what I was going to say that sometimes, and I've talked to you about this before though, but sometimes like we put ourselves through things or whatever, or we go through things or whatever, and sometimes it's not for us. Yeah. So we can teach somebody else. Like you go through, like not everything that you go through is for you. It's to be a mirror to somebody else, or broken to ministry, as I would say. Mm-hmm.
Getting the message.
Yeah.
Understanding the message.
But not even
whether
for you.
It be from,
yeah. I can go through something or whatever, and I'm like, why did I even go through this? I already knew this. But then I realize when I have a conversation with somebody else and they see it and I talk to them like, oh, I went through this, so I could talk to this person about it, or I can learn, I can teach them something that I've gone through or whatever. But before we continue, let me play another song.
Whoa. West.
Come on.
So this song is by JL. It's called Unworthy, and it's also on my playlist that is called Terrell Garnett Presents Brown Sugar and Honey, y'all. Let's get into it.
I said I'm working on it, so just give me the time. But I know I cannot keep myself from losing it. Don't wanna give up all this love. Got me unworthy of your love. All I ever wanted was somebody that understands the way I am, the way I needed love. Baby, the way you make me feel is not right. You just don't understand how to treat a man like me. Never told me you don't wanna be with me. I'm sorry, but you're giving me anxiety. Maybe one day the shoe will fit, but right now I just don't wanna trip. Oh, over you, baby, now. 1, 2, 3. Who would have thought that I would be the one? Look what you've done to me, I'm always on the run. Got me unworthy, can it be undone? I'm feeling unworthy for your love. Oh, I'm feeling unworthy for your love. Oh.
So we is back, y'all.
Yes, we are.
Me having a co-host.
I'd be totally down and honored.
I don't know about that.
Right,
Bro.
I know.
You gonna try to take over and shit.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta
know.
take over spirit over
It's
you.
gonna be Jerry's podcast.
Yeah.
Right. They're like, who's the one hosting the podcast? I think it's someone that's talking.
I'll be
the
better.
most.
I'll be
Jerry?
better as your intercessor.
Yeah, no, for real.
I just believe in the best. You just shoot me what you need prayer for.
No, for real, for real.
Yeah, for real, though.
Jerry's a good co-host for you.
They're like, Jerry must be the host of this show. I don't know.
No.
Co-host.
No, I don't need no damn co-host.
Nah, this is
Well, no, like,
this is Terrell.
Shout out to
Beyonce's Beyonce. She don't need Kelly and Michelle.
Facts,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm Beyonce.
Yeah.
Jerry, you can have your own thing, and then you guys can have your guys' own thing too. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Where are you going?
Oh,
Podcast live, no cigarette.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, bro.
Don't try to watch.
no
I
breaks.
need a smoke break. You just took a pee break.
No breaks.
We not
No
at the
breaks,
studio
please.
right now. We
Yeah.
on the podcast.
damn it!
Alrighty. So just to get into some more dialogue.
Yes.
We ready?
We were talking all about all these things, but I want to ask you guys to get a little more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Where do your insecurities lie?
Ooh,
Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
Let me
I
think
know,
about this one.
I have to think too.
I always held myself to a higher standard. So my insecurities lie within not making myself proud. I don't let other people, I don't care if someone else is proud of me. Like someone texts me, they're like, oh, I'm proud of you. I'm like, that's cool. But to me, I'm not at that standpoint where I'm doing enough. So it's always chasing being better. And it was always an insecurity like, man, I'm not doing good enough. And I want to be say financially, I'll just say on a day-to-day progression wise through everything. Like, okay, yesterday was this, but I'm solution based. So today has to be this. And I come from analytics. I come from numbers. So theoretically, I'm just like, this is how it should go. But that's not how life really works. You know, if you look at stocks go up and down day to day. And me having that standard is the reason why I have this issue in relationships of like, if I hold myself to this high standard, I'm gonna hold you.
Yeah.
I'm holding you just where I'm at. And most people aren't going to reach that. I might not even reach that standard. So I don't let anybody else put their standard on me because I set my standards already high. So I can get a compliment like, oh, D, you did great. And I'm like, nah, I'll look back and say, oh, I messed up. Because I'm looking in such an analytical way where it's just numbers. It's you either did good or you did wrong. And that is like I think that's one of the things I have to work on and what I continue looking at of just giving myself like, nah, it's okay. Just giving myself the backing of saying it's good, it's all right, you're all right.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that, I can't expect someone else to do that. I gotta text someone, oh, can you tell me I'm all right? No. So I think that's the biggest area of me, like setting my standard so high for myself, I won't be able to reach it.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. And I can relate to that to some degree. I think the wording would be a little bit different for me. I think there's a lot of similarities. I think it's natural to say, at least for most people, and I don't want to make a blanket statement, but we're our own worst critic. At least I am.
I can agree.
Right. And coming from for me, I was an athlete for about 9 years. I started competing in combat sports since I was like 13 years old, and you always have this moment at the end. I guess not always, but I would say for the most part, always, at least for me as an individual, you always have this moment where you assess yourself at the end of the day and you realize, was I good? Did I look good? And not just did I look good, did I perform good for this day? And I think in regard to relationships, one of my biggest insecurities is not being good enough. And not being good enough isn't necessarily to anybody else's standards but myself, because you have this sort of projection that you could be this good. And when you don't meet that projection, or you're in question of meeting that projection, you start to have, I guess you would say, for lack of better words, this battle in your mind, and whether or not you attain that goal for that day, or for that month, or for that date, or for that moment when you were with that individual. And so I guess I would say for me, one of my biggest insecurities is not being good enough. And that's not necessarily saying I don't know that I'm worth it, or that I'm not good enough, but it's more so just being one of my, going into default, being my own worst critic. And so I go back and I always reassess and say, did she think, and again, I'm not this person that just goes out on a bunch of dates, but when I am romantically involved, I always think, did she think I was good? Or did I do this right? Or did I do that right? Or whatnot? And those things play in your mind. And obviously I try to give myself a lot of grace, because I'm a human being, and because I know there's been a lot of grace given to me as an individual. So I can't.
He's not talking about on a sexual level.
On a sexual. Yeah, exactly. Not on a sexual level. I'm talking about like even going to have coffee
in
with
front of the individual and just connecting.
Right. Or going on a date and having a cup of coffee with somebody. Talking. You know what I mean? And striking a conversation. And so, it's one of those things where I always have to continuously reevaluate. But sometimes, and again, it's an insecurity, and sometimes it gets the best of me. Sometimes it gets the best of me because I'll think about very menial things that could be considered as hiccups, or maybe the words didn't sound smooth enough, or maybe I didn't ask this question that I should have asked, or that I wanted to ask, and then I'm hung up on it, and it's second guessing yourself. And so that's one of my biggest insecurities. I know I elaborated a lot, but hopefully maybe that resonates with somebody that listened.
I mean, when it comes to me, when it comes to insecurities, I guess it stems even past me, being raised and being grown up, being raised and growing up and being raised by surroundings of people telling you weren't shit, for you to find the confidence, for you to even have the confidence to talk to someone else of the opposite sex and present your ego at a young age and be like, I am the shit, but to realize all that stuff that was before, that shit didn't matter. But coming in terms to fight those battling thoughts, like Jerry was saying, those understanding, like I'd self-load because that stemmed from the household that I came from. It's so easy to question yourself when you're trying to understand someone else, and it doesn't necessarily go the way you want it to, but that's life, and that's how you learn new results, right?
Is it fear of rejection?
Fear of rejection, yeah. And when you do face the rejection, it's not as bad as what the mind sets up it to actually be, because it's actually, one, maybe you got to work on yourself, or two, it's the situation that you put yourself into because of how you were perceiving or talking. You know what I'm saying?
Talking to the mic.
Talking to the mic all day. You know what I'm saying, baby? Yeah, we out here. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Casanole.
All day, baby.
So
yes, sir.
So you're saying that a lot of the insecurities you have stem from how you were raised.
How I was raised. Was it like they were saying, like, was it to the standard of how I am my own worst critic? We all know ourselves, right? We know when we can be the most funniest. We know when we can be the most enthusiastic. Was I the most enthusiastic? Do I have to question myself when I'm at a date and I'm looking my date in the eye? So we're smiling, having a good time. Why would I have to? Because it stemmed from insecurities.
Where do we draw the line from this is our parents' fault to this is my fault?
You don't want to blame the parents, but you can understand the parents.
But you have to take some level of responsibility. Yeah, your parents.
I'm gonna take the responsibility.
I'm not speaking about you in general. I'm speaking in general. But it's like all of our parents. Right. They didn't know anything. Just like they make mistakes. We have to give some level of grace. They're gonna continue to make some mistakes. But at a certain point, we know this. So now we have to look in the mirror and say, okay,
tying back into sympathy. and the definition that you gave, me having kids, made me have the sympathy to understand the perspective.
Did you forgive? I think forgiveness.
I think at some level, as we're growing up,
that's one thing
we
I'm
think our
working
parents
on.
are superheroes.
That's one
we
thing
think
I'm
our
working
parents.
on. Hey,
When I grew up,
that
I thought
topic
listen,
right there, what you just broke.
I think it's important though. When I grew up
in trauma, yes,
I looked at my
working on
parent
that.
as some sort of superhero in some aspects, or well, she's raising me. My mom, she's raising me this way. This is what it is. But at some level, once you get to a certain level, you have to understand. Oh wait, my mom's human. You know, she's not just my mom. She's gonna have people she's gonna be with. She's gonna mess up. She's gonna do something wrong. And at some level, is acceptance and understanding that my mom's not perfect or my parents aren't perfect. So that's huge.
Away from the military, he was away all the time. Mom was the one that was raising us, and when she wasn't at work, she was doing what she could at the house. But my sister was the one naturally raising me. So it's just me and my sister against the world in another country.
So
in Japan,
with
understanding
insecurities
what the
that you
world
have
is to
now, self-esteem, you can't blame anybody else for your self-esteem because
Yeah, you can because
considered
it's yourself.
self-esteem. So in regards to that and the
It's not
insecurities
my
that you
parents'
have,
fault. It's
that
how my perception of how my parents raised me and how I perceive the world. So if I change my perspective on the world,
but have you done that yet?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can at least I guess
That's awesome.
look
Shout
in
out
the mirror and that's the late.
That's
I
the
guess
hardest thing to
That's
do.
the late blooming I was talking about. That's
We're not
the
calling
thing,
it late
the
blooming.
Acceptance. But that's the acceptance. I guess the term that I was trying to find or
You said
define.
how old are you?
27.
That makes sense.
I'm turning 28 in October.
So I tell this to everybody, and people told me this when I was
Even
young
if I had
too.
a kid at a young age, that's not even
Listen to what I'm saying. So, no, when you turn 27, when you turn 27, people would tell me this too when I was young too. Like something like a light bulb goes off, or you just start changing, or you start, it just happens at 27. Like something switches. So you're at that age, so that's why you're starting to think and look at yourself differently and look at what your parents did and how you could have done something differently or how you want to raise your daughters now is because I don't know I don't know what it is. Something about 27. I don't know what that means, but at that age, something it clicks.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Situational awareness, whether it be life, whether it be personal experiences, your environment.
So to go on with relationships and stuff, do you guys ever, I know you guys probably have, but do you guys ever lie to girls to get what you want?
All the time.
He said without a hesitation.
all the time.
Oh man.
I think it's important to recognize that that's what happens. I mean, especially with me, looking at things. I know I know how to talk well, right? So with that, I have used that in times to lie and get out of certain situations, whether it's me being caught cheating, or just I think that's when it stemmed, like more in a relationship. I don't typically lie to someone I don't really know, but if I'm gonna say something to you that's gonna end the relationship or B, upset you, I might hold that. You know what I'm saying? That's when it came down to where I would lie. As far as me lying in the beginning with someone.
How far are we talking into the relationship? Because many times in the first impressions of the relationship, you don't want to necessarily.
It doesn't matter though if you're trying to get
you
something
don't want
that
to
you
start
want.
off in the first impression with a lie.
So I guess
Everybody
as
does
an open
most
question.
of the time. Though.
yeah.
I lie. I think
Catfishing.
the other times that I've lied would be stemming from that. Like I would mess with girls who I had a girlfriend, and if they asked if I had a girlfriend, I'd tell them no. So my lies were always coming down because I was cheating. I wasn't really lying about much stuff.
Nah,
Yeah, whether I think, sorry.
no,
go ahead.
you're good.
I think whether it's in retrospect or it's in present time, I mean, it's all applicable. Like, dude, I remember when I was in high school, I lied to my ex-girlfriend and I told her that I was older than her, and she actually was a year older than me. She believed it.
What did you get out of that?
Bro, I got what I got what any young high schooler wants that obviously has no conviction.
But would that have changed the fact of the situation?
At the end of the
Potentially,
day,
yeah.
the truth being revealed.
But yeah, potentially, yeah, because
She wanted to sleep with you. She was going to sleep with you if you were 16 or
Regardless.
17.
I didn't know that. You wanted that.
Jerry.
And
She wanted that long stroke.
She want that Jerry. She want that
Bro.
J Lo. She want that J Lo.
no, I mean, in my eyes, I didn't know that. I didn't know that, and I was just trying to seal the deal.
He wanted
I wanted to make.
He wasn't taking the risk.
I wanted to make sure that every duck was in a row
Lined up.
to be able to make my
Yes,
move.
sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
And
sir.
so, you know, for me, I started going to church, and I ended up breaking up with her. She wanted to stay with me, and so she stuck around. And
Did she ever find out?
she ended up finding out on my birthday because you know she celebrated.
What year was it?
Dog, it was like 2012 or 2011. So the way it happened was that for 3 years she was celebrating a year over her year, and so she thought I was a certain age. And again, this all came from the premise of, you know what I mean, of lying and trying to get what I wanted. And so whether it was in retrospect or even in time, present time right now, oftentimes we lie because we're scared of missing out, or we're scared of the result of that reaction, or of otherwise we're insecure. And so a lot of times I seen this post on Instagram, and I thought it was really good. It was it said this, and I don't know if you posted it up or someone else posted it, but it basically went along the lines. It's like, you are a grown adult.
Yeah,
You
I
have
posted that.
Yeah, you have nothing to be scared of. Why are you lying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the truth. You know what I mean? More oftentimes than not, though, is we are scared when we feel threatened of the result that's to come. And if that result is you not having your way, or you missing out on an opportunity, quote unquote, you know, you will lie. Especially if you're not content with the result that could come or perspire from that.
I remember when I told my ex, like, she was 10 years older than me, and I remember telling her my age.
So she was a pedophile.
Yep. She was in the military, so I was living in Italy.
There's a lot of pedophiles in the military.
And I was, what's it called?
Cloud as a
I
cat.
was 19 turning 20, and she was, what was it called? 29 turning 30.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, like, that perception of what he was saying, though, it's very
So you
true.
lied about your age?
No, I didn't lie about my age. But before that,
So I'm
that
confused.
assumption in your brain, should I tell her? Should I not? Should I
So
tell
did
her?
she know
Should
how
I-
old you were?
And once I told her that stress that corrodes
Oh, I
in the
get
brain from the substantial standard in your brain saying, like,
So
she's
did
not
you
gonna
tell her
accept me
before
whether
or after you
Either
slept
at
with
the
her?
end of the day of my age, it doesn't matter, because that individual is attracted to you, right? Regardless of the age, was she attracted to you?
Well, obviously she dated him.
She was, but I mean,
Did the age? I mean, obviously, we're not gonna go into that topic of does age matter, but I'm saying, like,
I think at a certain age does
you
matter.
do not want
Yeah,
to.
if you're R. Kelly.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking. That's not the topic, but we're talking about
I make the topics.
telling the information of what you're saying before what you're trying to say.
You're talking about lying.
Exactly, lying.
But did you lie to her at all is my question.
Hell no. But I was going off of what he was saying. That's why.
Oh, okay, I get you.
Oh yeah, no, I pretty much stated what I stated, you know, about lying. Yeah, like I said, you know, you lie for the fear of whatever results might
Once you
perspire from
lie,
that.
you gotta.
Which you
keep it
could
going
lie,
on.
like, it's.
You gotta
it's-
keep it going on.
Exactly.
You lie-
Like, you lie about how much
Well,
money you got.
that-
You gotta keep that shit
that's-
going on. You gotta lie about your lifestyle. That shit's gonna keep going on. You're gonna lie about how you eat, whatever. That shit's gonna keep going on.
True.
You're gonna keep on all that bullshit. Hey, that's just gonna follow you. Best believe that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention right now. I was just thinking about that. The thing about that is, when you lie about certain things, especially major things like that, you're gonna have to keep up with the lie.
How hard was that for
Dude,
the age thing? Like,
bro, it's very
did she
hard.
not go to your birthdays or what?
Yo, bro, it was very hard. Here's the crazy thing: is I literally had to celebrate my birthdays apart with her, apart from my family.
Don't tell me she
Wait,
got
wait,
you.
pa-
Wait, don't,
Yeah,
don't tell me
dog.
she bought you like whatever. So you're saying you're 1 year older. So
Yeah.
she was getting
What
getting
did
you
she
cakes
say
and
to
stuff
you,
or
though?
what? The
What?
different age?
What did she say to you though once she found out?
She didn't. Well, we weren't dating. She just
She
was
still
in
didn't
this.
say anything?
Let me
3
see, I'm
years
trying to-
you let that
I'm trying
lie?
to- I'm-
Nah.
No, yeah, 3 years. I kept it up, bro. But talk about talk about deliverance. talk about deliverance. And then like we were already dating. Like after year one, I thought like I would think now I could have just told her like, yo, we together. Yeah, who cares at that point? But when we broke,
in your brain.
So when we broke up, we had broken up. I was, and again, this is in the context of me like going to church. I was, trying to change and, trying to change my ways and whatnot. And I remember I had told her, I said, I said this, I said, I was a different person back then. And she said,
I was a year younger.
yeah.
I was
really
a different, quote unquote.
Yeah, no, but
Listen, babe, I'm different now. I was a different person back then. Look, that's not me. I'm trying to tell you the truth. Sorry.
Yeah. Nah, you good. Yeah, no.
We're hyped up out here.
Yeah, we're hyped up.
Yes, sir.
No, I mean, on real talk, I just, I had to just tell her the truth. Like, yo, like I was a different person. I did lie and whatnot. And had to just sort of fess up to it. She was so.
What was her reaction?
She was mad, bro. She was mad. She gave me a present and left. She still got me a present after we broke up.
Hey,
And it wasn't
hashtag sabotage.
Hey, you want to hear the funny? Hey, you want to hear the funny part? She bought me a jar of pickles.
Because you gave me that pickle.
What?
That's cut. That's cut. God damn it.
Anyways,
No edit.
what I was going to say, was that
Having a good time,
she was not mad that you lied about your age. It was that you felt the need to lie to her at all.
Yeah, that was pretty much what it was. I think she was just really in shock. I think one of the things was that because we were just together for 3 years.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that got her the worst.
Life.
But then you start thinking, well, if he lied about that, then
What
what
else
else did he lie about?
What else did he lie about? And then, so like with that, not to really expound on the relationship. I mean, that in itself, like, was just a really bad relationship. I think one of the things is, I think that's also one of the things about getting in a relationship when you're so young, is that you're not fully.
Dynamics of a relationship.
I think in part it's that, but it's just, you're not fully developed to understand
the dynamics of a relationship.
Yeah.
Again, it's not fully that. It's also understanding, just yourself and being transparent. You know what I mean? When you're younger in high school, you're so bought off of this peer pressure that you gotta be a certain way or act a certain way, and you start trying to fit yourself into that status quo, and you end up not being necessarily true to yourself. So like for me and her, there was a lot of lies. I mean, I remember like right before I broke up with her, like she was like cheating on me and talking to her ex and stuff like that.
Wait, pause. So she had the nerve to be mad at you about your age, but she was cheating on you.
Yeah, but here's the thing is that Jesus came in my life and I just gave her a lot of grace, and so I broke up with her and just let her be on her own.
But see, that's where you got, the good karma. You know what I'm saying? Stay true to you. That's all it is.
Do you have another question, Terry?
On to the next.
Let's go into some more music.
Let's go.
What do we have, DJ?
So this is somebody that I want to have on my podcast, and I'm gonna hit him up. Dope singer-songwriter. He's written for Beyonce. This is TC, Tion Christian, and the song's called Toxic.
Tell me what's the fascination with making me cry again? Is this just a game? Is it a game? Yeah. Tell me, do you get pleasure when I cry? I believe you want to destroy me. Why you got me like this? 'Cause I feel it when you touch me. You can't deny that it's something. Seems like you don't give a fuck how I feel. What a shame. Why you gotta be so toxic? Why can't you stop it? Ain't in your back pocket. I'm tired of all your shit. You're so toxic. So toxic. I need to get away. 'Cause I can't keep living this way. You're so with you. Wishing why do you got me waiting for you to touch me, for you to love me, for you to do everything that you should do. I don't know why I keep on falling for the wrong mother. Cause I feel it when you touch me. You can't deny something, yeah. Seems like you don't give a fuck how I feel. What a shame, why you gotta be I'm tired of all your shit. You're so toxic, yeah. Sometimes I be wishing to get away from you, which only hurts me cause I hate being away from you. You make the rules, I play the fool, you play it.
That's how you get the real deal.
Yes.
Yes.
I could talk 10 shots in.
So do I, bro. I just like to talk.
But we were talking about a lot about standards and expectation. I wanted to read this because it's something I written a while ago, and I think I talked about it when we did the podcast with Charles a couple years ago. But anyways, it says expectation versus standards. Expectations are predetermined obligations that people know that they should have to meet. That's why you can't have expectation for people you don't know or people you are just learning, because they necessarily do not know what you expect. Standards are basic bottom lines that someone has to meet in order to continue to be around you and earn your expectation. Your standards are the way that you live. They are your principles, your morals, etc. People can step in and step up to expectations, but if they can't meet your standards, then you have to walk away. Expectations lead to disappointment. I used to say that means you shouldn't have expectations, but no. You just need to learn how to handle disappointment. And when people disappoint you based on expectations that they have already agreed to, that they need to be spoken to, or maybe just need to disappear.
Spoken to.
No, seriously, it's not
Serious business. Yeah.
No, seriously, I feel like expectations are something that I think that sometimes we put on people, or in relationships we put on people without them meeting standards in the first place. So if this girl doesn't do shit that she already does stuff that I don't like or whatever, why am I gonna then throw an expectation on her when she's not even meeting up to my standards?
Pre-qualification.
Exactly.
If you can't meet this pre-qualification, you're not going to be able to do. You're just not going to do that. That's just the reality. I like that. I haven't heard that. I like that. I like that perspective on things.
It's really good.
Don't worry, I'll send it to you.
Send that so I can digest that later.
Right? So just with living and being alive, we all know that there's a difference between living and just being alive. But are you guys actually living right now? And to add on to that, do you feel that you need to be in a relationship to live a fulfilled life?
Not at all. Not at all.
But you're a lover.
I am a lover, and sometimes at a fault too.
Not sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. I'm a hopeful romantic, I would call it. Not a hopeless, but a hopeful romantic. I definitely feel like I'm full of hope. But I think right now in this time of my life, and I would say in most times in my life, I can at least speak personally. Obviously there's been some previous podcasts that I've came out in that I've told you. I've came out of some things, you know what I mean? 11 deaths, 2 deaths this year, my brother being very ill, and his life, being in jeopardy, just in that in itself, and a lot of other external situations that have happened in my life have taken a number. But I feel like for myself, being a single man, out of a relationship, grateful for it, but out of a relationship and just in the place that I'm at right now in my life, I feel that I'm starting to live now. I do understand the feeling of living though, in being single, in my singleness. And I could definitely say that it's very joyful. It's very fulfilling. And, when you come into that understanding that, you don't need somebody, even though you would like it, you don't need somebody in your life to feel fulfilled. There's a lot more peace. And at least that's what I could say from my life. So yes, I do feel like I am living right now.
West.
I like that. I just want anybody listening to this to understand, like, you know, for dudes to be able to get around and talk about these things, like this is very important, but at the same time, the gratefulness on the other end should be received, because this is rare. Like, we don't see this. It's not publicized that we should be talking about stuff like this. And for us to be able to get on here, I want to say shout out to you for sure about talking about stuff like that, because the vulnerability level is definitely important. And I think for me personally, I was in relationships for a long time. You know, being 24 now, I was on and off in relationships since I was like 16. So being single is like, oh, this is different. You know, this is like, wow. You know, but I definitely believe in living. I have options. I can do what I want. Really, in reality, that's why I'm out on vacation right now. I feel like that's me living. But now being single, my priorities are just different. Before I was just like, okay, this is for us. This is for we. This is for how we're gonna build later on. Yeah. Whether if you get up and do anything, I'm building for us every single day. Yeah. So now that aspect of being able to say, I'm gonna build for me is interesting, because imagine how much more I can do, which I have done in 2 months. Yeah. For myself when my time was being divided. Because as an entrepreneur, a relationship you have to put time in. Yeah. You have to put, like, bro, that's a job. Yeah. Right? So I get home.
There's equity.
Yeah. So now I'm at home. I have to spend 4 hours with you. Because me sitting on a computer in people's eyes isn't spending time. So now I'm living. It's not. Yeah. So now I'm living with a whole different perspective of, okay, now I could do for me. So if I want to get on a plane and go fly wherever I want, I have the means and the ability to do so. So I really feel like at my point in life, I feel like I'm living and, you know, adapting to focusing on me and what I want. Yeah. What you want to eat and what I want to eat. Yeah. And that's a whole different life than what do we want? How do we want to move? Yeah. And I think that's important when we look at being single. I feel like I could be fulfilled, and I'm being fulfilled by being single, because I realize in relationships, I'm looking for the other person to possibly bring something to the table of having my back. Yeah. Now I'm like talking to myself like, nah, it's okay. You're all right. You're good. You're not bad. You're not wrong. Instead of needing it from someone else. It's cool to hear it from someone else, but when we need it from somebody else, that's when we start
blurred lines.
Yeah, blurred lines, and we're not taking responsibility for ourselves. So now I'm actually building a relationship with myself, and I think that's going to put me on another level in terms of living.
Yeah, I think too, for those that are listening, I think it's important to understand in being single, and this is totally whether if you want to run with this or you don't, but being single and enjoying your life and building yourself doesn't necessarily mean that you got to be a hoe either and being single either.
Preach.
Really, you know what I mean? Because that's the truth. Sometimes we relate being single. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna do what I want. I'm just gonna go out here and I'm gonna mess with this person and mess with that person. Whether you're a girl or you're a guy, like you want to just I'm just gonna go and it's gonna be a frenzy. That doesn't necessarily help anything. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It just bypasses.
Basically, well, you're putting
bypassing a fuse from your emotions and just pushing it down.
Right, you're putting a Band-Aid on something that actually needs to heal. You know what I mean? Like you have to give some time to heal. That's not focus. That's not focus at all.
That's having sex and then
your
focus. It's a distraction.
It's exactly. Yes. And sometimes that opens up a can of worms that you did not want. That was worse than actually being in an actual relationship. Yep. Seriously. And so, it's like what was being mentioned right now. Focus on yourself, build yourself.
A lot of people don't know how to do that.
You know what I mean?
Currently learning how to do that, but a lot of people like to focus on.
Late blooming.
We're not doing late blooming, but
for me, my personal growth, I had to do that.
Yeah, personal growth doesn't mean late blooming though.
Late blooming within my own personal growth. You get what I'm saying?
No, I understand what you're saying.
What he was saying, I completely agree, because when it comes down to it, like. When I was in when I went to relationships, and like I said, it stems from my relationship patterns, from how I was raised. So growing up in a household where my dad was the one doing everything. So me growing up, seeing that translating in my mind, in my perspective, you got to do everything to make the other person happy. No, that develops a codependent relationship, and that power dynamic becomes unequal within the relationship, because one, you could be doing that, one, you're going to be setting yourself for failure, because you're going to be unhappy trying to make that other person happy because she's not happy. Mm-hmm. And understanding the happiness becomes something that you both communicate on a ride together in the relationship, understanding each other, you know, whether it be from intimate moments beyond the physical, understanding each other on an emotional aspect, understanding each other on a growth aspect. But it takes time. It's not going to be that one relationship right out of high school. It's not going to be that one relationship right out of middle school. Going into relationships, you think you know what relationships are. Going into middle school, you just hugging and holding hands because it's just what? It's that attention you feel. You like that on both sides.
It's called hormones.
It's that hormones. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of hormones, have you guys
How
seen
do we
that
develop that
show on Netflix?
idea of hormones?
It's like a cartoon. What the hell is it called? I think it might be called no. Well, I'm gonna figure out what the name of the show is called, but like it's so inappropriate for kids. However,
Rick and Morty.
No, I feel like kids should watch it though, because they're gonna learn a lot of stuff about their bodies, one, and then like what it goes through. But to piggyback off of what Jerry was saying, I want to play this video, or you guys can listen to it. It's funny. This kid was basically, he's not a kid, he's an adult, but he was basically playing a prank on his dad, saying that his girl that he's messing with got pregnant. So I'm gonna play the clip or whatever. It's really funny though, his dad. But I'm playing it for a reason, and I'll talk about it afterwards. So
go for it.
Here we go.
Now what? Now what? You want my God for?
What's her name? Said she might be pregnant now.
Who?
Dee stupid ass.
Fucking with these old raggedy assholes. Nah, but you so goddamn stupid. Fuck you, man. What you deserve, you get what you motherfucking deserve.
She might be pregnant, Daddy.
I won't give a fuck. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Keep telling your dumb ass not to be fucking around with these goddamn young ass goddamn hoes. No, but no. Your dick tell you what to do. You rather listen to your goddamn dickhead than you rather listen to your real brain. Shit, stupid motherfucker.
Her ass fat too, Daddy.
I won't give a fuck what her fat ass is.
Damn.
She stupid, you stupid. Two stupid motherfuckers having a baby gonna be a stupid motherfucking kid.
Man, come on, Daddy, man. You can't be saying all
I
that
gotta
shit.
say whatever the fuck I wanna say, cause both of y'all are stupid like a motherfucker.
Damn, dog.
Tell her to quit fucking with you, and you quit fucking with her like talking to two stone goddamn walls.
Shit, dog.
That's your goddamn business.
I
you
want
pregnant.
a boy anyway, though.
I want a boy my ass. You can't even take care of the 3 girls you motherfucking got. How the fuck you gonna take care of a boy?
Damn, dog.
Stupid motherfucker.
I got one.
Man, I don't even want to hear that
for
shit.
abortion money though.
What?
I got 150 for abortion.
Yeah, but
I need another 150 though.
You ain't getting it from me. You ain't getting it from me. You better tell Dee to go out there and suck some dick to make up that $150 or something. But you ain't getting it from fucking me. Sick and tired of y'all stupid young ass motherfuckers.
Well, you my backbone, Daddy.
Back my ass, motherfucker.
If I don't got it, you got it.
I ain't got shit for you.
Damn, dog.
I ain't had your back when you out there fucking these hoes and making them pregnant. Hell no. I told you don't have no goddamn kids until you ready. No, you want to go out there and fuck on the pussy spit tastes good.
Man, pussy, man.
Man, fuck you,
It
man.
was your first time too when you first had some
Fuck
goddamn
you.
pussy, Daddy. You first say you had the
Nigga,
pussy.
I was 32 years old before I had my motherfucker, had your stupid ass. 30 motherfucking 2.
That's a long time, Daddy.
You goddamn right.
Long time, but you did good then, Daddy.
You damn right I did good. I did whatever the fuck I wanted to do until I was ready to have a goddamn kid.
But I'm a real nigga, Daddy.
You ain't shit. A real nigga take care of his motherfucking own. Real nigga get out there and work. A real nigga have his own motherfucking place.
So I'm a bitch nigga.
You're a bitch nigga.
But the reason I played that part's funny. You a bitch nigga.
Jesus.
But the reason I played that was just to say, like, his dad was telling the truth. Like, when he wasn't out here having fun. He was living his life, doing whatever he wanted to do
for the time being.
Exactly. And when he was ready to settle down and have a kid, then that's what he did. He did the stuff. I don't want to say the right way, because there's no right or wrong way,
quote unquote.
But like, just to piggyback off of what Jerry was saying, like, sex isn't, it's a temporary high, and it's a temporary
it's that feeling. Emotion that thrive, but like an emotion, it too shall pass.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. You're gonna say something, Demariyea?
I think in the aspect of talking about like doing what you want, I think it's important for us to be able to have that, and to add context and kind of what I was saying earlier about me doing the things that I want. It wasn't sexual, but I'm gonna add that. But beyond that, knowing the sacrifices. Every time we do something, we're sacrificing something. So, spending your time to have sex with somebody, you're sacrificing your time. You're sacrificing a possible relationship at that time. Like, when you're doing what you want and added context to it, as long as you know the possibilities of both spectrums being positive and negative, then you know that, and then you continue doing it. And I think that's a part of living. Like, we really should be able to do what we want in this life, and I promote that and I talk about that all the time. However, on the backside, in the negatives and positives of what can occur,
the accountability, what we were talking about, when it traces back to at the end of the day,
and that's going to help you decide. It's going to be positive or negative, but that's energy,
the individual's karma.
Yeah, that energy you're gonna keep moving on is gonna follow you when you're doing what you want.
Good or bad, you'll do what you want. That karma will follow you. But as long as the intention is behind it, like, let's say I could do what I want, let's say in a past life, and it was clouded by bad intention. But let's say you want to correct it, you can correct that in your current life. Don't get me wrong, like, life isn't over for any individual. You can make a change with whatever you are facing, whatever aspect has made you feel like you are defeated in the current moment. It's like an emotion. It shall pass. We all have individual things, whether we look at it in a personal aspect or in that first point of view, like, this is the end of me. No, it's not. Because you are still here. We are all still here. We have all had those traumatic moments where we were like, damn, this is me. Like, is this me right now? Is this the end? Is this the end of the road? But till we push ourselves and we actually wake up the next day and be like, nah, man, we're blessed with another day. We're blessed with other opportunities. There is another way. Yeah. Like you say, with your business opportunities, there is another way for my mind to facet another opportunity in my mind. Options all day.
What is life? How are you living life if you can't do what you want?
And due to the perspectives, we can change the perspective, and we can make other options due to changing our perspective.
And I'm not saying not to have sex if you want to have sex, because you can do whatever you want. However, be smart about it. Don't let the people that, whether it's you're a guy or a girl, let the other person know your intentions before you. So there's no drama. There's no
There's no backlash behind it. There's no the kids not getting affected within the kids them being raised.
What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about if you had kids with the person?
Yeah, just
which is an effect of having sex unprotected. Guys.
Yeah,
when you do what you want, remember that.
Remember that, because hey, man, like, the kids remember. The kids will remember how they feel. Kids remember how they feel being raised in a household, whether mom and dad are happy or not. They can realize if mom's not happy, they can see the tears down to mom or dad's face and understand, hey, they're not all right, but I'm going to do what I can because I'm a kid. I can't do much, but I'm going to try to do what I can out of my little, to make you happy. Like, hey, I'm a child. Like, what can I do? And that pressure weighs on to the next generation. That shit trickles down too. That's a child. Yeah, it's family. That can lead into generational curses as well.
West.
One thing I say is, just listening right now, it is true. The reality is you could do what you want.
You can, but you should.
Exactly. And so what I want to say is this, is you can do what you want. And I know that there's this huge talk on, that's predicated on freedom. You have the freedom to choose whatever you want to do. But here's the reality. Sometimes freedom the best freedom you can have comes with boundaries. The best freedom you can have comes with limitations. Because if you want to do what you want, sometimes you become a slave to the very result of what's brought from that action. And so if you ain't trying to have kids, I'm just gonna be straight up. You ain't trying to have kids, you're free to do what you want. But if you ain't trying to have kids and you end up having kids, you suffocate.
You fucked yourself over having kids because you, like you were saying.
Yeah, you've basically
trying not to have kids.
You've basically stunted your freedom or whatever your perception is of freedom. So remember, everything comes with the decisions that you make. So if you have this certain idea of what freedom looks like, your choices will very, very, very easily stifle that perception that you have if you're choosing the wrong things.
Because it's not moving with intention. When I speak about
intention.
I think one of the worst things you can do is move with no intention.
Yeah.
You know, in the money aspect and energy aspect, if you have an idea, that's in reality, most people don't know what they want.
Even in conversations.
Most people don't know what they want. And then after that, they look at it, but they're doing different things. People talk about, well, I want to do this. I want to make money. I want to do this. But their actions every day don't align. So think about it. Like, you want a girlfriend, but you're going to go to a club and look at getting a girl while you guys are drinking. Is that the best way?
Those ideas don't match.
Right. So it's matching what you want with the intentions and the actual, strategic planning. But the first step is, how do I get what I want? What do I want? Which most people don't know. And then B is respecting yourself enough to say, you know what? I do want a girlfriend, so I'm not going to have... There's girls that I talk to, and I say I respect her, and I want to possibly be with her. I'm not going to have sex with her for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And that's following along with, if I see you as someone I could date, I'm not going to do that to possibly ruin it. So I think it's moving with intention.
Yeah, I think also to piggyback off that, I always tell people a while ago that, like, you have to be ready.
Yeah.
For what you want. And I don't mean ready in like the physical aspect, but like just even getting your life in order. Like, if I want a relationship, I want a girl, well, what's going to make me stand out? So that means I need to change stuff. If I'm always going to the club, then I need to stop going to the club because I want my life to look like this. Yes. So if I want my life to look like this, I need to position myself in a way where my life is like this now. Right. So I'm ready. So when it does come, I'm ready for it.
Before the result.
Well,
exactly.
That's cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is something that you perceive, and something like you were saying, you want a relationship, but why are you going out to the clubs seeking out something that's not long term? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So
I like that.
You're moving in a way where it's like you want something, but you're holding yourself back from it. So your mind and your body are not connecting at the same thing. Yep, so that's cognitive dissonance. So your mind and your body's not fully connecting. So you're not being truly authentic within your individual self.
And people quit before they want. Like, if you have to make yourself ready before you get what you want, which means you had to prepare, which means you took the time to be disciplined enough, you really will get what you want when you do that. However, we skip that step and go, I'm going to go do this. Then when it starts and you don't get that instant gratification, you get rejected on the first girl you ask out, you done. You're like, nah. I'm going to lie. I'm going to go back lying.
And then I think a lot of times too, that we try to keep up with the Kardashians. And what I mean by that is that, like, you just your friends around you, your friends may not want no relationship. They're going out to the club. So you got to put on this persona, even though that's not something you want to do.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, from the South, man. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida.
That's super important, though, if you look at it on that aspect of who you're surrounding yourself with in line with what you're doing. That makes sense.
And it's funny. I told my friend recently, she was talking to this guy. She's gonna listen to this too. She know I'm talking about her. But he wasn't. She wasn't. He's not a good texter and all this other stuff. Like, and I'm like, well, is he always on Instagram? She's like, no, he doesn't really post stuff on Instagram either. And I'm like, well, then maybe he's just not on his phone. Like, she's like, but it's 2021. Everybody's on their phone. Not everybody is on their phone.
Nope.
Like, you should be happy that he's not on his phone if he's giving you the attention that you need while you guys are in person and stuff. He's just not a phone person. But to go along with that, she was just saying, like, just with business and everything else or whatever in her life is going on. And I'm like, well, the reason why your life's not working out the way that you want it to right now is because you hanging out with broke ass bitches. Like, your friends don't have anything going for them.
So that helps you put the perception on other things that doesn't help growth.
In a sense, yeah. Like if you are living this lifestyle and you're hanging out with these people, like they say, like you're a product of your environment.
Yep.
Birds of a feather flock together. Even though you may not want to be that bird, but you're, and just like we were talking about earlier about energy and like the stuff that you're around, you're surrounding yourself around, you become a product of that. So
And
that
it can
negative
seem to
energy,
influence. It
the
can
negative
seem to
energy, even
influence.
though you're trying to be positive, it's seeping into you. So you're not really getting what you want out of the situation.
So why you got to protect what you listen to,
Gotta
who you
protect
listen
your
to.
energy.
Because
Protect
I've
your
watched
energy.
people lead somebody in a relationship that was like, I don't know if I should be with them, and they're in bad relationship. They're like, nah, you shouldn't be with this person. You shouldn't do this, da. And I look and I say, well, does the people around you have what you want? So I had to check myself. I was asking people for relationship advice that was single, that was divorced.
And then that's when you were,
Then I realized, wait a minute.
Unless they're licensed or
I'm looking back at it like, wait, why am I not asking the person I know that's happily married? Why am I not asking them
for successful tips, and outlooks that I can actually learn from.
Yeah, instead of looking on what not to do. I think you can learn from what not to do.
It ties back into that thing we were talking about. What we focus on is what will manifest. What you guys were mentioning earlier.
So it's super important to if we tie that all together and being intentional and doing these different things, it matters on who you're around. It matters if you hang around single friends, it's a different story than you hang around people that are in relationships. Like usually when you're in a relationship, I usually hang around people that are already in relationships because we're going to do stuff that we do in relationships. If you single, that's two different things we do.
You can definitely read the vibe if someone wants to be single, and you can definitely dictate from that and delegate, you know. But I mean, nowadays, I mean, the game is a little bit different, but
no, the game remains the same.
Yeah,
The players
game
are
remains
different.
the same. Just
The game
plays
remains the
different.
same.
Yeah, I think in regards
Yes,
to,
sir.
I think so. One of the, actually, as a matter of fact, I was listening to this podcast, and actually, it's really intriguing to me. Cognitive dissonance actually happens probably at the age of 25, if I'm not mistaken, for most males, and I think females as well, are probably a little bit sooner for females since females mature mentally. It's proven scientifically earlier. But cognitive dissonance, for those of you that don't know, it's the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially in relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change. So, with that being said, it's just something that you guys should know of. When it comes to cognitive dissonance, it's something actually that's proven scientifically and psychologically. When you want to keep your mind sharp and your behavior and your attitude up to par, good. And this is just a little bit of side note for those of you that are listening to the podcast. If you want to actually grow in that, or at least be able to sustain that, it's proved scientifically the best way to sustain it is actually through physical health. So I know this is sort of like a side plug on it, but I just want you guys to know what that is so that you guys could be aware. Cognitive dissonance is exactly that. And the best way to keep it, actually, it's scientifically proven, is for you to maintain your physical health. So you going to the gym and actually keeping yourself physically fit will help your mind as well. So there's a lot of psychological and mental, let's say psychological as well, benefits to that. So I just thought I'd plug that in for those of you that are listening.
We
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
that. I'm going to play the last song of the podcast. This one is one of my favorites. It samples Donnell Jones. But this is Tone Still, and it's When You Love Someone. Y'all gonna know the sample.
Ooh.
Didn't mean to destroy you. I know I ignored you, but I wanna be yours, and I wanna be open now. Oh, now you're emotional. How did we switch roles? We could get closer now. It's never too late. I'm trying to believe, so let's keep the pace. I'm trying to be patient, but I keep on pacing. We've been running away from communicating. Baby, let's face it, it's just conversation now. No more temptation, no more misbehaving. When you love someone, you just don't treat them bad. Oh, how I felt so sad. Didn't wanna leave, you're pouring your heart to me. How could I let this be? Just needed time to see where I wanna be. I know you got pressure, but she never measured. I know she had leverage, but I never let.
He got
You
next.
guys are getting me back
He got
into
next.
making content, so
Good. I'm glad that this is helping you get back into making some content. But that was Tone Still. He got next. If y'all haven't listened to his EP album, please go ahead and do so.
amazing.
Now.
Amazing.
Dope artist. But just before we get wrapping this up or whatever, I feel like the second part was all over the damn place. But I really want to ask you guys this last question to, what do you think? I think that a lot of my episodes I talk about purpose and stuff. And what do you feel that your purpose is?
Who wants to go first?
I'll take it away.
You?
Go ahead.
Go.
You got it.
I feel that my purpose in life at this point is to help others understand finances and financial literacy and how important that is in the long run to build generational wealth. And that's something I focus on with my brand, Elevate Now Brands. But I think that's my biggest purpose, leading people to more options than I particularly had when I was making money at a younger age, should I say. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like financially, there's something called the Maslow hierarchy effect, and it talks about, your needs. And then one of your needs at the lowest level is finances. So I feel like if I can give back and help people do that at some level, finances are survival, right? That's the reality. So I'm helping people survive in a manner of giving them information about finances and helping them understand there's other options to live your life. And so I think I know that's definitely my purpose, and I'm doing that now.
That's amazing.
That's great.
I think on my side, when it comes to purpose, growing up younger, when I was finding my own expression when it comes to music, that was my attainment through the idea of what I thought was purpose. But that was just the facet of expressing myself. As I had my own children, that was my further understanding of my purpose when it comes to furthering the understanding of what my parents passed down to me and what I took in, and what is the best way that I can change it. Not in disregard or neglect or negativity or disrespect towards the sacrifices that the future generations put upon me, but how can I delegate in my own life, in my own scenario, in my own awareness of what I can do for my own scenario and teach upon the next generation for my daughters, so they don't encounter someone either the past like me, so they can actually have someone better. So they see someone that, how they say, like, in relationships, someone, the children, or when you're in a relationship, sometimes like you can have these nuances where they represent your parents in a caring aspect or something like that. And that's what trapped me in my last relationship. The caring aspect. So let's say when you didn't have the caring aspect growing up.
Karen, that's what threw me off.
Oh, no. Not that. Yeah, hey,
Yeah,
you
I
gotta
really
put a
thought you said
mask on
Karen.
here. Okay, it's COVID.
No, I thought you said Karen. I was like, what the hell is that? No, okay, I get you.
But in terms of the caring aspect, you look towards someone that you want someone to care for you in that aspect. But no, as an adult, you understand that, hey, I'm an adult. Those traumas in the past, I don't need to be looked over as a child or cared for as a child. No, like, I got to be loved as an individual myself. But going back to my purpose, understanding my own lessons and my stories, I'll give it out, whether it be a podcast, a story, a music video, letters on the table. It gets passed on to the next generation, whatever the case may be.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yourself, Jerry?
Well, I almost had a Kodak Black moment where I'm like, I don't know. West. I guess so. Hey, no. No. Right now, my purpose in life is to, and I'm just real note, is for those of you that know me, that have heard me in the other podcasts, obviously I can come off a little preachy, but that's also because it's in my nature. By my nature, I'm a teacher, I'm a preacher, and I respect any realms of faith. But for me, I love Jesus, I love God, and I love, I also love just being myself and being transparent. And I think that there's nothing wrong in being able to express who you are. I think that this generation, even more so now, needs people that are real and that can actually connect with them, not through just a platform, but actually within proximity and to be able to relate into people's lives. And so for me, my purpose in this world and in this life, I would say, is to know God and know people more, and to be able to help people in whatever sphere of life that is, whether it's to empower them into being the best version of themselves, or to empower them into getting to know a relationship with their creator more. Whatever it may be, my mission in life and on this earth is, one, to make God famous, but also to be able to relate with people in a way where it's unquestionable that they know that God is real, and that they know that their life has value, that there is unlimited value on their life, and their life is that valuable that a good life was sacrificed for them so that they can actually have life and life fully in him. And that's just my conviction. But for me personally, I love people, and I just want to make God known to people in a way that maybe perhaps people haven't been able to see because of whatever stigma they had in life. And I know how sometimes religion and faith and spheres of faith in regard to Jesus and God sometimes can have a bad connotation on people. But my mission is to be able to speak a language of faith where all people can understand, whether that's in one way or another. It all leads to the same way. At least my mission is, in that's coming with skill and craft, dedication and time, reading and getting to know and maximizing moments with people. So that's my purpose in life. At least that's what I would say. Besides that, it's also to show the proof of God. Proof of God. When I say that, that's the proof of God, also showing God's existence through my life. And sometimes we could talk about God being real, but if he's not real through the life that's being told that he's real, then people won't ever believe it. So for me personally, it's to show the proof of God, and the proof of God is actually showing that you actually are living, and we've been created to live, and we've also been created to create. So that's my mission in life.
Yeah, you said all that, and I just made me want to play this song. I wasn't going to play another song, but it's called Secret, and it's by Out of Eden, and I'll talk about it after I play it, but here it is.
question took me by surprise. She said, ooh, such a rainy day. Why are you so happy? What do you know that I don't know? What do you know? I wish I did, but ain't been told. Tell me what's I didn't have the faintest clue where to begin, so I asked some questions. She told me where she was and where it was she'd been. What an awful tale, life hadn't done her well. Before you go, let me tell my story. You know, all good sin, no glory. The reason why I'm still alive, that is why you're asking me. She said, why is that cloud? Why are you so happy? I wish I did, but ain't been told. Tell me what's so the moral of the story is the whole world's watching you. So be careful what you say and be careful what you do. Never know when it will be your time to show someone the way. So be a guiding light and shine through the sand. Why is that smile? This is say to you. What do you know? Oh, they're lost without it. The way without it. Why is that smile? Hey, let somebody know the way. Won't you go and show the way? Let your light shine for the world to see. It's up to you and me.
So that was Out of Eden Secret. And the reason I played that song, Jerry was talking just about, being a light. I guess you could say being a light to the world. And I felt like that song was just very important. I love that song because song dictates basically this girl walks up to her and says, like, what do you know that I don't know? Like, why are you so happy? Like, everything that's going on in the world right now, even today, what we're living in, this is around, like, this song came out around the time of the World Trade Center, 9/11.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. So, but just with the pandemic, things, everything that we're going through right now, basically, like the best way to show your light is, or show God to people is, by living it. Yes. But that is really all I have for you guys, or all we have for you guys on the podcast. But I want to let my counterparts shout out their Instagrams and anything that they got going on, so you can look out for it and follow them. Go ahead.
You already know. Demariyea here with Elevate Now Brands, right? My Instagram is at Elevate Now Brands with the S at the end. I teach people 3 things: how to build assets, build their credit, and create a spending plan, and to have options and really truly understand wealth. So follow me. I answer questions every day. I do personal mentorship, and kind of what we were talking about before. I live what I do, guys. Every single day, I'm either investing or giving somebody some advice about investing, and that's very important. I don't put my money anywhere. I wouldn't put your money anywhere I wouldn't put mine, or advise you of any of those different things. So yeah, like I said, I'm on the path of enlightening people to understand financial literacy. So tap in with me.
Dope, bro. This is Jerry. You can follow me at 2 social medias, either or. My first social media, my personal one is It's Okay. That's ITS OK Jerry JERRY. That's my Instagram. So again, that's ITS OK JERRY. That's It's Okay Jerry. And then you can also follow me on my, I guess you would call it my business profile, which I just started not too long ago. It's for my art. For those of you that don't know, I do canvas art. I sell canvas art. So it's all fine art. And you can hit me up if you desire any art to be done, but it's going to be at C.REEH8, and that's create. That stands for create. That's C.REEH and the number 8. For short, it's but that is my nickname, I guess, my alias for my art. But again, you can follow me on either two profiles. Be more than happy to give you a follow back. But I do appreciate you listening to the podcast. I also want to give a shout out to Terrell for just having us on. I do appreciate you, bro. Thanks for having me on. I guess you would say for the 3rd time, along with some friends.
No problem. And we also have...
Yes, sir. I go by the name of Senseii. You can follow me.
Repeat yourself. My bad. Your mic was off.
Hey, no worries. I go by the name of Senseii. You can follow me on Instagram at SENSEII93. I repeat, SENSEII93. And you can follow my YouTube content when it comes to all my musical aspirations. Just type in SENSEII93.
You have any new music or anything coming out soon?
Oh, yes. I got a couple new music videos coming out, so definitely be on the lookout. All of us as creators, man, we're innovators. We have feelings, and we're definitely going to innovate the future. So best believe to look out for all of us.
Yes. Well, I want to thank all of you guys for coming on the show. It's me, your host, Terrell Garnett, and this is Create Your Own Story. And you can follow me at TERRELLGARNETT_, and that's on everything. Or you can just go simply to my website at terrellgarnett.com. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you for having us.
And that's all we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed yourself on this episode of Create Your Own Story with Terrell Garnett. We'll catch you next time.